Thank you. You're welcome once again. My name is Babajide Benson. It's been a privilege and an honor to do this since yesterday, as we did last year. You've been a fantastic audience. You've been very attentive, very cooperative, and I'm certain that we all are having value for our time that we have invested in being here. We're going on to the next panel for today. And the topic is adaptive route to market systems, optimizing distribution across fragmented markets. Optimizing distribution across fragmented markets. And we're going to be having three panelists. Shiham Sundrani, Olawuyi Toba, and Ujolakpe Murayo Rahim. The panel will be moderated by Abhishek Shakti. Almost all of them are ready. I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge our partners, party lines who have given us screens. So the screens you see on your right and on your left are provided by party lines. So if you want to party hard, you need to talk to party lines. We're going to party hard at the end of this year because our brands are going to be doing well. We're going to hit our targets and go beyond. ROI is going to be fantastic. All of our efforts are not going to be in vain. So at the end of the year, when we're having our end of year party or staff appreciation awards, party line should be part of the party. Otherwise, there's no party without party lines. Don't say that I didn't tell you. If you haven't met them at party lines, you should meet them now and book them. Otherwise, you may not have screens for your party at the end of the year. So keep your eyes on the screens on your right and on your left and see what those screens can do for you. And you can visit the website, thepartylights.com. They'll light up your party and there will be fire. And then it will be lit up. And then anything can happen. All right. So our panelists, in no particular order of preference, Shiham Sundrani, FMCG and beverages executive with over 2 decades experience in sales leadership, business development, and route to market execution across Nigeria and West Africa. Currently, he serves as Director of Beverages Africa at ASOS Global Resources, and he leads commercial strategy and market development for beverage across African markets. He's also driving distribution expansion, trade execution, and sustainable growth strategy. Shiham Sundrani, please come up stage now. Thank you. Olawuyi Toba operates within the GB Foods ecosystem, supporting the execution of market penetration strategies that strengthen brand presence across retail and informal trade. His expertise spans sales execution and field-level commercial strategy. He has contributed to business growth initiatives across Nigeria and Ghana, aligning on-ground execution to improve shelf presence and consumer reach. You see to the ready. And last but not the least, Executive Director of Commercial Operations at Stafford Irish Spirits, which many of us have taken this morning. And she leads commercial transformation, market expansion, and revenue growth initiative. Before now, she's held positions of leadership at Diageo, the Coca-Cola Company, Chi Limited, British America Tobacco. She's recognized for combining strategic thinking with execution excellence to build high-performing commercial organizations and market-winning route-to-market systems. Ladies and gentlemen, our 3 panelists are seated, and I'd like to invite the man who will be firing the shots, asking the questions, Mr. Abhishek Shakti. Abhishek, come and shake it up a bit. Please pay attention. Our phones are on silent. Get your pens and papers so that you can take notes. You can get that nuggets that they're going to share. You can save it and clock it and go away from here with it. Your time starts now. The session will run for 35 minutes. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. You guys are sleepy already. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. That's it. That's the sharpness we need for next 35 to 40 minutes, yeah? All right, so my name is Abhishek, and I've come all the way from India to be with you here in Lagos for this session, for this event. I work as route to market, supply chain, and digital transformation consultant. And honestly, Nigeria sits close to my heart. I've spent many years driving RTM and digital transformation initiatives for a lot of big brands, smaller brands, growing brands across West Africa. So yeah, I enjoy the traffic. I don't know if I hate it or I like it, but that's how it is, right? And I've seen West Africa markets grow. I've seen West Africa markets evolve. And very surprisingly to the world, that's how I take it from here, I've seen West Africa market adopt and adapt very, very fast, right? So when organizers asked me to drive this session, it didn't feel like stepping back into an unfamiliar territory. It felt like, coming back to the conversation I've been a part of for years, right? So that's about it. I hope you guys enjoy the whole session. All right, before we dive in, let me set the stage. Our theme for the session today is adaptive RTM systems. And the big question we are here to wrestle with is this. In markets where consumer behavior, infrastructure, and competition are evolving faster than most distribution models can keep up, what actually separates a company that just distributes products from one that builds a true adaptive RTM ecosystem, right? We are going to hear this from 3 panelists who live this every single day, right? Across beverages, FMCG, spirit. Yeah, we will talk strategy, we will talk hard truths, we will talk facts, and we will talk AI, of course, if we haven't spoken yet. And yeah, we'll also have a little fun, by the way, guys, so stay sharp. There is an incentive for you, everyone in the audience. There is a prize for the best question from the audience. That is going to be at the end of the session. So stay sharp, stay engaged, and start preparing. Hear wisely. We'll probably choose 3 or 4 of you. And when I say the best question, it has to come in such a way that it makes the panel pause and think for that answer, right? And one of you gets that prize. It is going to be a very, very special prize from this session, yeah? All right, then. Are you guys excited, by the way? Thank you. All right, then. While there is a great introduction done already, I'll still give every panelist a bit of seconds. If you guys can please share a bit about you and introduce yourselves. We start with Mr. Shamyu.
Well, I think the panelist, the guy who introduced us, has introduced me more than I could have introduced myself. So let's just continue with that.
All right.
I don't think I could do a better job than what he did.
All right, then.
All right. My name's Olaoyepo Toba, right? I'm a route to market professional working with GB Foods currently. The job is just to support the field system and the business at large, trying to reach relevant retail outlets in a very sustainable way using data, technology, and the latest tools in town, augmented realities. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mutsuraya. I'm the executive director for Stafford Irish Spirit Brands, wines, and alcohol beverages. I have over 20 years experience working with different FMCG brands like Coca-Cola, Chivita Hollandia. Also worked in Canada, but I had to come back because Jackpot was not helping. I also work with the Macallan whiskey. See how that brand has really done excellently in Nigeria. I'm very proud of how we were able to strategically place the brand in Nigeria. Currently, I am definitely here to take up a new brand. I'm sure you guys have experienced the Bold 98 whiskey outside. So there's a lot of opportunity for us to continue to win in a market like Nigeria. So I'm excited to see how this session goes, and we're here to help you all also succeed in this market. Thank you.
Thank you, Mo. And then I'm taking a liberty to call you Mo, right? That's fine.
Absolutely.
Thank you. All right, then, before we get serious, guys, a quick icebreaker to all of you. I want one word or one phrase from each of you, not an explanation, yeah? If your current route to market strategy were a Nigerian dish, hear me again. If your current route to market strategy were a Nigerian dish, what would it be and why? Is it, I'm giving you options. Is it jollof rice? Reliable, everyone loves it. Try it and taste it. Is it pepper soup? Hot, complex, acquired taste, not for everyone. Right? Or is it suya? Simple, direct, always hits the spot. One phrase. We start, okay, you're excited. We start with Mo, you.
It has to be one of those three.
Yeah, of course, yes.
Okay, I think I'll go with
If
pepper
you're saying
soup.
that you have
Another one,
a
yeah.
couple of RTM strategy, then it's not a strategy.
Okay, so I'll go with the second one, which is the pepper soup, right? Hot, spicy, but there is a bit of sweetness into it. And the moment you get right into it, you don't feel that spice anymore. You just take water, enjoy it. If you don't take water, if you like your juice or anything else. Nigeria is so hot pepper. If you're not able to take the heat, enjoy it, live in it, and go forth, you won't even know. You'll just be scared. No, this is too spicy. I can't take it. But the moment you take it, you take on Nigeria as a market, no matter how complex it is, you tell yourself, even if you fail at that thing, it's still not a failure. It makes you learn that thing, and then you are now in the pepper soup, enjoying all that. And it becomes a success. No amount of success that people have achieved today just immediately became successful. You had to learn and learn and learn. So you never even take failure as actual failure. You take it as something that eventually gets you to success. So it's pepper soup for sure.
All right, that's very interesting. Okay, Toba, you go next.
Okay, for me, it will be jollof rice because of the versatility, right? And jollof rice can be served with different kinds of protein, can be taken with different kinds of things. And the average time to even cook jollof rice, because the era we are is the time of speed and fast decisions, compared to other meals, it's relatively a bit less. So for me, it will be jollof rice because of how versatile it is. And I mean, everybody loves jollof with a bottle of Coke.
When you relate this, Shyam, when you relate this with an RTM strategy, you know what you're saying, right? Try, tested, everyone loves it. I don't want to change much. That's how your RTM strategy is right now. That's what it's saying, Toba. Yeah, you didn't mean it through the question, but you said it now. You said it. All the executives from GB Foods, it's on the record. All right, then we go with Shyam. Your take, please.
So for me, it's the pepper soup. It's complicated, but everybody loves it. It's spicy, but everybody wants to have it. The best thing about the market here is when you compare it to a recipe, if there are 20 no's in this market, you will definitely find a yes somewhere. The market is open-hearted, distributors are welcoming, and they give you an opportunity. It is for you to whether take it right or mess it up. So pepper soup is very welcoming. Those who can take spice, welcome to the market. This is the market that has a lot of dynamics, but is open to a lot of new inventions, new products, and give it a try to even mediocre products that have done really well in this market.
Wow, that was wonderful. I think pepper soup is becoming a obvious winning choice here. I don't know. By the way, if you guys have to quickly, one or two of you, out of these three Nigerian dishes, what do you really like? How do you challenge yourself in general? Leave the RTM strategy behind. Jollof rice, pepper soup, or soya. Anyone, quickly. Anyone? No? Somebody? Yes, please. Yeah, so the question was, what do you like? Which Nigerian dish? How do you challenge yourself with these things in your life in general, your career? Jollof rice, pepper soup, or suya?
Pepper soup.
Oh, that's a popular choice here.
Yes.
All right.
He is spicy.
Hot and spicy is how you like it? Very interesting. Thanks. All right, then we dive into the session now. We open with the big one, and this is the question that frames everything we are here to discuss today. Shyam will go with you first, and a quick take then from Tova and Mo. So we start with this. What distinguishes organizations that merely just distribute products from, again, the whole team, right? That's why, from those that build adaptive route to market ecosystems capable of sustaining regional scale and dominance and competitive dominance? Over to you.
See, I've been in this market for about 26 years. The market has evolved. You said it in your introduction. If I go back 25 years, it was me, 10 distributors across Nigeria, and business was simple. If I could go back there with a good product, life would be much simpler. Now, as the markets are evolving, there is much more competition. I was introduced to data by Godson, your partner, while I was building the brand called Best. We launched Best, which is a South African brand. So today, if I look at the market, with the way the market has evolved, trust with your distribution partners is primary. And for me, it's been easier now because I've had this relationship over 26 years. If you have made money for them, introducing new products, new lines makes it much more easier because you have a track record. What makes it further easier now is because you have data that you could explain. But I'll tell you, some of my biggest distributors, when I put data, or let's say the company's national sales manager will put data in front of them, that we can do this, we will add vans, we will add 25 outlets per day, drop size, XYZ. After everything that he has understood, before I'm leaving, he will look at me and say, Sham, is it okay? He needs that nod because it's a relationship that has built not only today with him, but there are people who are distributors whose parents have handed over to kids, and that relationship has continued. So the market still works on a lot of trust. Everybody is taking as much knowledge about data and acquiring this data to improve distribution, improve profitability. But when it comes to direct distribution, the cost of distribution is much higher than many other countries. So if I look at direct distribution as a company where we are in mainstream beverages, it's not very profitable. We would still love the traditional way of supplying a distributor. He is supplying to his connects. That makes life much easier. But because of competition, you now go in and do indirect distribution. You use his warehouse to distribute products that you've supplied him for him. So you use his warehouse, his office, his warehouse as your warehouse, while you add value to him, while you pay for vans, while you pay for the cost. So the market is evolving, And for, medium scale companies, mid-level companies, not the Unilevers or others, we need to manage our cost, especially with my experience of two new companies in Nigeria. In 2010, we started Best with 3 vans, the whole of Nigeria. We were the #1 Irish cream brand in 2 years in Nigeria. We had 3 vans for distribution. But then, as the competition increased, we saw that there were more brands in the market. We realized data is required, more distribution is required. And if we don't get what is today SFA, we are not able to track the investments we are making into this distribution. So in this whole 25 years, it's a whole different dynamics. But still, a lot of my customers, 70% of it, are still working in the traditional way, even today.
Tuba, a follow-up with you.
Okay, the difference for me is in how organizations view distribution. That's the traditional route to market and the adaptive route to market practitioners right today. The traditional route to market basically emphasizes how you move your product to the value chain. Don't necessarily need too much of data at that level, right? And is using a kind of fixed system that has been too traditional. While those that are kind of adaptive route to market practitioner these days, well, it's just like a GPS navigation systems where you have real-time feedbacks, real alerts to make agile decisions on your feet. So one of the key difference for me is in the flexibility of the systems, right? Nigeria is not the same with other parts of the world. Lagos is different from Kano. These strategies will be tweaked based on the realities and what is evolving per time, right? Another difference I see with adaptive practitioners today, which is the current era of route to market, is precision in execution. Because now it's not about where you sell, right? It's now how you sell and what are the SKUs you sell. What you do in store is the game changer. Success now is not about activity again in store, is accuracy. Then another key thing for me that sets the tune as per difference apart is the depth of integration, because now route to market is telling us that it's not just enough to sell the product and keep it at the distributors. We need to be involved with all members of the value chain, support them with tools, data and insights, right? Because success today in our business is no more about direct control. You have to leverage your network to be successful. Then there's speed in learning, because they said if you learn very fast, you grow very fast. So adaptive route to market practitioners, one key thing that also set them apart these days is the speed, to making that decisions in an agile way. So the traditional era is almost out right now, and tomorrow the adaptive route to market practitioners will be the one to hold the game. And it's better we start keying into that level now, the mindset shift and all that. So I think I'd like the 4 buckets of critical things I think sets the difference. The way they view distribution is kind of different, today. When you look at the traditional route to market practitioners and the adaptive route to market practitioners. Yeah.
Appreciate it. That was good. That was an on-ground kind of a view from you, Toba. Over to you quickly, Mo.
Hello. Okay. So for me, I want to look at 2 things. The first is we need to look at the 2 legs, right? One is how are you different from the leader? You are doing something which is being transactional. And I liked what our first speaker said, like you had to move from being just transactional, right? And you were not being a leader at some point, but you realized that I need to now be very strategic, which is the second guy. The first guy, I have my product I'm selling. I just need to raise volumes and make sure it sells. How it's being sold, let's just sell. You had 2 vans, they were doing all the things they could do, but competition is coming in every second. So now you're moving from being transactional to now being the main guy, who is the leader, who is very strategic. And for you to be very strategic, you need to look at 3 things. The first is your visibility. The second thing is your flexibility, which they've both mentioned. And the third thing, which I really want to focus on, is the partnership. I was with a partner yesterday, someone that I just met for the first time. I didn't even know that she knows me. She knows me, but she doesn't know my face. She knows my name in the industry. Oh, this person has done this and that. And by the time the meeting was supposed to last for just 30 minutes, I ended up spending 6 hours with her. You know what I did to that partner? I realized that there is a frustration she has, and that frustration needs to be felt. She needs to, a problem shared is half solved. By the time she ended up sharing that problem with me, I explained exactly, like a mini MBA. She didn't believe it, that she could get a mini MBA from me in 6 hours, something that would probably take her many, many years to get with, many practices. She would have had to fail on a lot of things. So the point I'm making is I moved away from just being transactional with her as a partner to say, hey, I want you to be my distributor, or I want you to be my sub-distributor because you have this, you have that, you have that. I nailed the reason why I went to meet her, but I did something much more important. Now she calls me this morning. She wants to be my friend. She wants to constantly talk to me. You know why? I have now made her see that I am a consultant for her, beyond the reason why I'm here. She has already said, yes, I have to work with you because I like what you're up to. I don't even know what your brand is saying, but I like your vision. Because I like your vision, I want to work with you. So I'll take on what it is you're talking about, but I love that you're going to give me value. So your partners, no matter how data-driven, fantastic, whatever it is you are getting from your market intelligence, if you don't go down to the final leg, which is your partners, that allows you to ensure your route to market gets to the final end user, from the partners to the wholesalers, from the wholesalers to the outlets, from the outlet partners, what are they doing to make sure that your product is more visible, all of those things. If you don't get closer to your partners in such a way that they see you more than transactional, but more as a friend, in a friend that is there to help, we're not going to go far. So let's always constantly think about the partners and the other two, flexibility and visibility. Thank you.
Very interesting. That's a good take, Mo. All right, I'll stay with you for a moment, Shyam. And so while you're at Arsh's, of course, aggressive growth into new territories for your brand, there's always a tension between, moving fast and building right. So when a beverage brand is trying to expand into new or undeserved territories, how do you balance the push for quick wins and quick sales with the need to build a lasting, trustworthy distribution system? That's.
So there are a couple of things here. One of the most essential things that is not even related to the market is your investors. Your budget decides your strategy. Your budget decides your route to market. Your budget decides your approach. So that's part one. And on that budget, you now, first of all, the two ventures that I'm talking about, we've built products from zero, right from manufacturing to commercial to launch and to have a successful launch. And I'll tell you, both these investors had no mind to invest into distribution. In 2010, there was a gentleman from South Africa who came to our office and said, social media. The investor was there for a day. He said, fuck we didn't understand the essence of social media then. It was not even popular. How many people had handheld devices? But today, things have changed. Now, when you say new product launch into the market, you need to understand basic things, your cost of production, where do you want to benchmark the product? Which other brand are you benchmarking it? And accordingly, you drive the strategy. So in two different products, in two different companies, one came in 25 years ago. The strategy was traditional market, give value to the distributor, and let him sell the product. 15 years later, 18 years later, 5 new brands, different policy, 4 channels. The distributor assists the distributor in reselling the product because today the amount of brands in the market are so many that the distributor doesn't want to put interest into one. He is so busy with operations. You need to drive your brand from his office. So we are looking at the traditional market. We are looking at redistributing products that we supply the distributor. So that's one channel, traditional and redistribution. We also look at the retail channel, which is currently growing in Nigeria. We have some very good outlets, Market Square, Boku, and so on and so forth. So we have a growing modern trade channel. The impulse channel, the filling stations, the traffic areas. Traffic is a good market to popularize your product. But for alcohol, it could take me to jail. So I avoid that. But in the filling stations, we use that opportunity. We do keep it. I hope it's not the driver that is buying, but the passenger is buying and drinking on his way home. But we use that opportunities. We explore all those opportunities. So yes, we are giving each channel fair budget, but the company till today sustains. I said it before, it's not the Diageo, it is not Pernod Ricard. These are local brands, and we started from zero and where we are. So budgets, constraint, and other things. We keep it simple to start with, but we understand today the importance of data, distribution, shelf, visibility, pricing, route to market, everything we understood. I have learned this on the field, not in any school. I have learned it, and the best thing about me is that along the line I've had so many failures, which are the best teachers of all time. And success along with it kept me relevant. So we do explore all the 4 channels. Still, I would say 60-70% of the contribution into sales comes in from the traditional market in this country at the moment. Yes, we drive secondary sales from there. Data is important, and we are using that to improvise.
That was super impressive. But by the way, because we talked about, you have scaled so many brands, of course, everybody knows it, and you have lived the market for sure. But for the audience, you started a new brand, of course. Which is that product you would want them to go and taste?
See, I
I'm
cannot
promoting this.
differentiate between the new 5 kids I just got. I cannot say one is better than the other, but one has excelled better than the other. And it was, it is, I don't know whether it is strategic or what, and sometimes investors' pressure. I launched 5 brands at a go last year. Wasn't the best thing to do, but the investors were buoyant enough and said, let it go. And my reaction was 3 will fail. And 2 years later, we are 1 year, 6 months with this new investment. We are doing approximately 100,000 cases per month. Many are not able to. And we are not fighting with price. None of our products are price concentrated. We are locally produced, top notch in quality. We are fighting with brands that are established for 20 years, 30 years. I don't want to name the brands because it'll look like I'm publicizing the brand, so I'd rather name my own brands. But we are doing well in the market. Yeah. So.
Perfect. That's great. All right, then we'll move to Toba. You live in the ground, Toba, across Africa markets, Nigeria, Ghana, all of that, right? Now, while Shyam gave a lot of strategic insights from the top, or from the ground, but you have been living on the ground for so many brands for years now. Question for you, so in fragmented retail environments, right, where there are informal kiosks, that's how the Nigeria operate, the West African markets operate, the open market stalls dominate. Getting clean data is challenging, is notoriously difficult, very interestingly, that's right. Now, how does your team leverage this field insights and the RTM metrics to optimize the coverage and spot those hidden opportunities to grow? Over to you.
Thank you, Abis. And you mentioned that I had experience in Ghana, which is correct, and also in Nigeria. But the funny thing is that there are still some similarities too. So for the question of how we leverage data in fragmented retail space, which is what dominates this part of the world, uh, access to clean data from beginning has always been a problem, right? So what we try to look in what to do is how do we make this imperfect data actionable and usable, right? Those are the things that we look at. How do we set up processes that continuously build the quality of the data to the standard we want for decision making? So in this part and from experience, fragmented retail space where we have a lot of unstructured, unorganized, no system in place for retail shops and all that, we still leverage heavily on our fee system, right? And what we do with that is that we ensure that they gather valuable insights, right? Market information. We go through systematic market mapping and outlet census activities, just to juxtapose those information with other independent sources of data to see how we can scale, right? And in the process, we measure valuable KPIs. There are some key metrics that when you intersect them, you begin to identify opportunities. KPIs like core compliance, average sales per route, right? Sales performance, even the average daily KPIs that we normally use, right? Productive cost, When you intersect these KPIs at a point, you begin to see some overlaps here and there. You begin to see some opportunities. For example, you get an area whereby productivity is high, but outlet penetration is low. It tells you something. Okay, I need to do more when it comes to outlet penetration because productivity of my product or demand of my product is high in this place, but because my penetration is low, it's an expansion for me. It's an opportunity for me to do more and leverage that white space, invest more and do more from the in-house data I'm seeing. And another way, conversely, you could notice that areas of low productivity, but yet you have a lot of outlet penetration, is a signal for two things. Execution level is very poor within the system, or my product is not even evenly available. So it gives you something to think about when you just oppose all these things. And the big thing also for us is technology, the role of technology in all this, right? Because we have different route optimization tools that we also use to leverage on, to close drive time, optimize routes for better performance of our fee system. So what I would just say here is that for this part of the world, heavily we still rely on the fee system, right, to gather this market intelligence because, the market intelligence aspect is still what you can't do without in the fragmented space. And the leaders that win for tomorrow are those that are superior in market intelligence because those are the kind of things you know how to leverage on for planning your route to market investments. You don't want to invest in the wrong places. Right tools in the wrong places does not make sense most times. So we still have to leverage on the fee system big time to gather this level of intelligence and also these KPIs to measure and intersect them to identify blind spots and where we need to recalibrate, adjust our model here and there, just try to be adaptive. So that's my note on that for now.
Sure. Just to follow up with you again, Toba. So we've seen B2B platforms like Trade Depot, Omnibiz, that are kind of, trying to digitize informal trade in West Africa. So how do you see that? Are they really solving the right problem, or kind of just digitizing the dysfunction? How do you see them?
Okay, so from what I know about those companies, Trade Depot, Alezo, they play a role, right? It's just trying to tell you that it's high time we also consider the omni-channel approach, as organizations, in as much as we are trying to leverage traditional and adaptive route to market systems. How you get to shoppers, consumers in the best way you can should be the approach now, right? So there are a lot of options to reaching consumers, which Trade Depot and other companies measure offers, just that the system is different. So as an evolving company that is trying to be very adaptive, while you are still leveraging on the traditional route to market, trying to tweak it per time based on dynamics, you still need to leverage opportunities of reaching more customers through other means or platform, in as much as your cost to serve and your profitability margin is not going to be eroded in any form. So it's an advantage to key into such opportunity if it makes commercial sense for the company in the long run. So the omni-channel approach is also very key for companies that want to really scale in terms of reach and consumers. Yes.
From beverages point, I mean, I never had this in agenda, but I really want to check because it comes from FMCG score. But Sham, I mean, what do you think of these platforms? They are direct to retail platforms, right? I mean, should we bring this in our route to market strategy? Omnichannel is the right strategy, or of how a lot of organizations across the globe are approaching how their overall route to market strategy should be. How about?
So I have not worked with those guys. I just recently made very good friends in Unibiz. And what I understood, they wanted more data from me as to who I am supplying to understand the customer's financial cycles. They also want to concentrate on financing these people. So everything that I understood in my couple of meetings with them is they are more driven to finance these channels, the distributor, or the credit that I am extending to get a percentage, which is a good form of business. Yes, they have their platform, and I'm not an expert on their platform, but what I understood, what their interest was to finance the trade, finance the channels, and finance the retailer up to the distributor for whatever markup they can and the turnover. Are they able to push your brand? No. If you go and place Indomie on top of Onibiz or any trade depot, it's not for them to sell. The product sells by itself. Go bring a new product and put it on their shelf, you will get it back in 6 months intact, is what my thing is. But they can help you get some leverage, some visibility. They would not drive your product. They could help you finance your trade partners so that your exposure is limited. Because as a financing company, they have good KPIs. They make sure that if an outlet is financed, their KPIs are done properly, which we as a product company or a physical product company are not as established as a financial organization. They have their end-to-end connected properly on that. Good company, very good guys, nothing against them. They can't sell my product at the moment. Once I become famous,
Very correctly put. I mean, across the globe, there are different perspectives of how these B2B platforms are working. I understand how, Nigeria is adopting that, but I think it's a bit different when it comes to a little more growing emerging markets. I see a huge shift of, the whole distribution-led channels. While you cannot go away from them, but also now focusing in terms of investment, energy, infrastructure, resources to drive B2B platform for brands and products. It's happening already. In Southeast Asia, there is a huge growth on how B2B platforms are being utilized. Of course, in Asia. But yeah, let's see how Africa does that. Kenya has, I've been trying to see this from last 5 years at least. Kenya has been failing to drive this just because distributors are so strong and they have so much of, the retailers have so much of loyalty with the distributors that these platforms are not able to sell, solve for anything in terms of pushing the sale or whatever, irrespective of incentivizing them. So let's see how Africa evolves with this, because they're always very fast, as I said, always very fast to adapt. But I've seen many markets adapting this. There are some geographies where companies have gone to about 30% of their overall RTM spends only on B2B platforms. The way I see from a global lens from many, many markets. But let's see but you're spot on how it currently works, and let's see how it evolves. Thanks for your insights, though.
just to add to this, when you say Africa as a whole, you take a flight from here 1 hour to Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast to the Nigerian market is a total flip-flop.
Yeah.
Ivory Coast traditional market is not up to 5%. And out of that, most of it is run by Igbo men from Nigeria. So Ivory Coast is a more traditional market, 5-6 major companies with proper distribution, and you pay out of your nose to get your products listed in those markets. Very traditional. Once you are on the shelf, it's now for you to drive consumption out of the shelf. Nigeria is completely different. And for that to happen here, will take a lot of time, or it will never be 5 players, it will be much more. But we have a company, a supermarket chain, Boku, which is growing very fast. And 2, 3 other companies similar to that, which are now adapting that system, wherein going to the open market and getting cheaper prices is no longer the thing. You could walk into a store in Boku and get similar or cheaper prices with a much better environment. You're still shopping inside air conditioned. They've kept it simple, limited, essential products, and they are going mostly into white label. So it will not support me or most of the brand owners. Though for this company, we are currently co-manufacturing for them. So we are enjoying their presence. But that kind of environment is what I see might reduce the dependence on the open market. You've come here, you're attending this place. I don't know whether you've seen Okyaran market, which I am very comfortable going into. Many are not, or go into Onisha. And you see the hustle and bustle, but there is no better learning ground than placing yourself in those markets. The distributors teach you, the people teach you that. But it looks like in the near future, by the time such supermarkets get better prices like this, those market relevance will slowly drop.
And they, on the top, they start digitizing themselves and attracting customers directly on top of that, probably. Very great insight. Thanks. We'll go to more you. Right, so let's shift this to premium end of the product, right? And now, faces a very specific challenge when economic conditions get tougher. Now, when economic conditions shifts and markets become volatile, right? Consumer buying behavior, of course, for premium categories, at least for everything, but for premium categories, can change rapidly, right? How? So, as a commercial leader, right, building an adaptive RTM ecosystem or distribution framework that can protect trade relationship. How do you see that?
Okay. I think the first thing would be, we all know that a market like Nigeria or Africa, we get to deal with a lot of volatility. I'm hoping that the dollar continues to stay the way it is, but I think we've all been hoping for the longest before I was born, but it never happens. So there is always that need for companies to have an array of portfolio that allows them to cushion the heat when it comes. And when the heat does come, what are those priority SKUs that you want to focus on? At Chi Limited, we used to call it unforgivables, meaning you as a salesman, it is unforgivable, it is criminal, you might be jailed if you do not put these priority SKUs, if you do not push these priority SKUs into the relevant channels. And it's not even just the salesperson, it's down from the first value chain till the last mile. The first is your partners. What are the things that would make your partners naturally want to then make sure that those priority SKUs are truly prioritized and they also recognize that they are unforgivables? Those priority SKUs, definitely you as a business would need to bring something over and beyond whatever it is you're doing so that it becomes a constant reminder or recall or a mental awareness in their heads that these SKUs have to, get into the market. Now, even for you to determine which are the priority SKUs, it requires a lot of data, right? And the data has to be very fast decision making. There are a lot of risks that we look at, internal factors, external factors, everything comes to play, and then you're able to determine those priority SKUs. I mean, he was talking about data now, right? And you don't trust the data 100%, correct? We can only trust the data maybe at best 70%. We still need to be able to take that 30%, one rule of thumb, to in-field visits. It got to a stage where, in fact, our in-field visits, we in top leadership, we couldn't rely on the marketing team or the trade marketing team anymore. We had to also be in the field every day. So imagine you as a finance person, you have an email that says you have to go to the field and find out the data for us, and everybody will come back. Let's say, for instance, you are a business that have over 3,000 people. 3,000 people bringing data for you in field, real data. Do you know what that means? So we would have to tell the security men to go into the field, pretend as a mystery shopper, and bring that data. So while the sales team can be very funny, you tell them to you tell them to spread a product, penetrate 100 outlets, and on paper you see that they penetrated 200 outlets. By the time you find the data, you find out that they only penetrated 20 outlets, because the remaining 180 they took the bottle and almost divided the bottle into 4. A bottle like this, imagine you cutting this bottle into 4 and selling it to 4 people. Is it possible? Is it possible? But they do it, right, on the data. So yes, we look at the data, we try to make sense of it, and then we determine those SKUs, those channels, those territories, because each region has its own peculiarity. What happens in Aba can never be the same thing that happens in the north, can never be the same thing that happens in Lagos, can never be the same thing that happens. So you have to look at the data, and it's very easy to do. It's not, thank God we are in a digital space today where data is like this. You are able to see the entire Nigeria in less than an hour. It's easy to do. I don't even know how, I think we have veterans here. Maybe people that are 50 years old, 60 years old. How did you guys survive back in the days where you didn't have digitalization today? I'm very curious, because you guys are amazing. There's something else. You guys must have done something else, because today we have so much data that we can easily fix things, right? So the first priority is that SKU that come rain, come shine. Every Nigerian will want to buy this product. Why? Because we've built equity, or we've done something great with our product. So you have to be a business that has an array of products. Do not focus on just one SKU. Make sure that you have something else that cushions it, and then build the equity out of that brand, so that when those problems come, you are able to stand strong. And if you look at brands today, Coca-Cola, a lot of brands, they still stand strong because they're able to diversify by understanding what that unique SKU is, and that's the unforgivable, right? So that's the first thing. Now, the second thing is your experience. How do you get that key SKU to now be in front of that decision maker who you need to satisfy? And who is that decision maker? The most important person in the entire value chain, from the product to our warehouse, to the distributor, to the wholesalers, to the strategic wholesalers. Who is the most important? It's the consumer. It's the person buying the product. So what do you then do in terms of experience? That consumer standing in front of that product, or about to see your logo, or about to experience you, what's that thing that you must do that can never make them to take their eyes away from you? They just want to take on that product because you have understood their frustrations, their persona. I studied a bit of brand marketing, while I was in Canada, and I was able to truly understand how it is important that sales team and marketing team must be best friends. But we are all here. Are we best friends today? Is it yes or no? It's still shaky. It's so sad. It is extremely sad. I told the organizers that, see, we're going to have to do a master class, because the things that I learned, I feel like it will be fair that I will grow old, 80 years old, 100, maybe 120 by God's grace, and I would go away with that knowledge. We need to have a masterclass that truly makes the salespeople and the marketing people realize how together, how collaborative they must be. Because what happens is the marketing team will just say, oh, they said we should go and create experience, do awareness. We have done it now. Kyle, the first speaker said something like that, and then, oh, we sold 10,000 cases, but we spent 500 million. How much is 10,000 cases? Maybe 500 naira. How does that make sense? So the things that I learned made me realize that, no, the experience has to be so fixated on the consumer and the quality of sales that we generate from those priority SKUs. And so what I've also learned, which I've also put in practice and has really worked very well, is that, you see, the way the experience happens with the consumer would not be able to go home without buying your products. Because what you are doing to that person is you are fulfilling a satisfaction, you're fulfilling a want, you're fulfilling a need right there on the spot. And the priority would be availability, because if the product is not even available right there at that experience center, you have lost it. The person buys another product. The next thing is visibility. Do we all agree that there are two types of visibility? There is the product visibility, the planogram, how you bring it to life. Even if it's as little as, imagine this Aquafina bottle, and then I put a very gigantic ribbon on top of it. A ribbon, and then I display it on shelf. And every other bottle doesn't have a ribbon. Which one would your eyes go to? The ribbon. It will go there because apart from just making it available on shelf, you made it so disruptive that nobody can miss you. It might not be ribbon. It might be the logo something. There's just always that thing. It could be your brand story. It could be your pillar. How do you bring it? It could be that your logo is an eagle. Okay, what if you create the feather of a... It's just mind-blowing how much you can do with having your products on shelf, but making it so disruptive that nobody can ever miss it. And the moment they catch on, boom, catch them with the next thing. Products, promotions, discounts, activations, rewards. Buy this amazing thing that looks like a beautiful ribbon. Me, I'll even buy it. You know why? Because I have a 7-year-old daughter. She likes blue, and there's a ribbon. I'll maybe buy 5. The product is for me, but it has created another avenue for my daughter. So I'll give her the ribbons, and she uses it for whatever. But there's also an additional thing. If I buy this thing, I also get something. I also get this, I also get that. We're talking about in a space where there is a lot of market volatility. Prices are changing, dollar is... But you're actually still engaging that consumer no matter what. So the products, promotions and discounts works. And then the last one is the final experience. As a person is leaving, what does the person go home with? There must be that communication. Is it that verbal with your personnel in that space, or the open belly posters, or whatever it is you want to do in that space that gets that consumer to remember you always and even spread the word for you? So that's the second thing. The first one I said, the SKU, which is your unforgivable. The second one is the experience you must give at every point in time. And the third one, which I want to also state, is about the pricing, the clarity of purpose. You don't want to, I don't know if I should even say this, but I think maybe Ben would allow me. There is a brand, okay, I won't mention the brand name, but I can tell you guys the experience. There is a brand that I brought to Nigeria, and I had to go through a series of training, almost 6 months training in Scotland before I was allowed to now start talking about this brand in markets. And this brand, there was a clear strategy on price. You see price and all the other P's, but price, the first one, in Nigeria, I don't know, in other markets maybe it's different, but in Nigeria, if you don't get your price right and your end user, the consumer, that guy that you must be so crazy about, you're not going to get it right. So in terms of price, with this particular brand, as an example that I'm giving you, we said that there is a market leader in Nigeria today. And that market leader, we want to become the number one. Imagine you coming into the country and you want to be number one, boom, just like that. How? Is it possible? Is it actually possible? In less than 1 month or 2 months or max 1 year, it's not easy. But I did it. You know how? We said, because this guy is the market leader, this is their price. We want to come in and be times 2. If they are selling for 100 naira, we will sell our own 200 naira. If they move to 200 naira because they see the thing that we would now be doing. Remember I said consumer experience in a way that nobody can even understand it, because the ideas, talk to Gen Zs, maybe you should even start talking to the baby boomers and, our Gen Alphas and co, because ideas are too much, So for us to be able to do, if they move from 200, we move to 400. If they become 400, we become 800. If they become 800, we become 160. So 50% for every time. But what would allow us to do that is salespeople should not leave the thing for marketing to do. The salespeople must sit down with marketing and say, marketing, see, they said I should go and sell this thing for this price. Oh yeah, what's that thing that the two of us will go and design and do in such a way that when you are now executing that thing for me in field or in the immersion sessions or in anywhere else, I will be able to get the consumer. So we did that. And the moment we did that, today, the brand is number one in less than 1 year. It has become number one because we did that thing that marketing would refuse to do. We forced marketing to do it and made the both of them be best friends. And now today they are working for it. So I hope I was able to answer the question.
That was quite detailed. By the way, what is the brand one of the SKUs you can share the name here and everybody can recognize of your brand?
Okay, so the brand name is the Macallan Whiskey.
Okay.
Yeah.
And because you have spoken a lot about placement, merchandising, visibility, next time you guys don't see that product on the shelf, you know who to. Right? You want to say something?
Let me give you something funny. I do a lot of exports from Nigeria for branded items, Coke, Pepsi, Unilever products. He said the economy, you mentioned the dollar. And I think what you were trying to say now that the Naira is appreciating and it's staying at a level, it's good. But when you're importing, exporting, or locally manufacturing, the exporters, that's one side of what we do, is we exported 50, 60 containers every month of branded items to pockets where there is no manufacturing. All branded items, whether it is Macallan or whether they are locally produced, Unilever products, Pepsi and all that, had benchmarked their product against the dollar at 1,900 to 1,800. Today the dollar is at 1,350. That opportunity of export has gone down the bin because no company is ready to revise prices, and simple answer is operational cost has gone up, fuel cost has gone up, diesel has gone up. But why I brought this up is because I exported what you imported as Macallan back to Europe once. But I could go to
Interesting. Crazy.
Talking about the experience, right?
Right. All right. Just the last, we are running out of time, but I have two things to finish before we close the session. One is, guys, you're preparing, right? I'm coming to you guys. Now, how can we not talk about AI? Very quickly, we'll wrap this up with AI, a topic in every boardroom, strategy deck, conferences in the agenda right now, right? I'll ask all three of you, please give a very brief answer, sharp answers, because I want to hear how differently it shows depending on how you kind of drive this in your value chain. Now, AI is reshaping how businesses plan, execute, and optimize across the supply chain, right? From the demand forecasting to predictability to insight intelligence to the better routing to all of that, right? Now, how are you seeing impact of AI in route to market strategy, in practice, in your organizations and work? If at all, you can also say that, hey, don't talk about AI right now to me. Quickly, we start with Yumo. Yeah.
Okay, so AI is very key today. It's also very catastrophic. Catastrophic because if you're not traditionally driven or find the veterans that have been there to learn the traditional driven way of doing things and to also be very intelligent in how the things have been done in the past before AI came in, you would fail woefully. So AI is good, but it only enhances what you do in practice as a human being. It would never take away the human elements, the human-centric, the human trensities, if you allow me to use that word, of whatever it is we do. I think that's the way I can put it. AI is key. I use it a lot, but I use it when it's now almost, I'm good to go. Now help me fine tune this, make it the seamless thing ever. And that would take me 2 weeks, 3 weeks to have done before. But now I will get it done in 1 minute after I've completed that iteration process. So yeah.
Get it. Thanks for that. Tova, quickly.
Okay, so for we in route to market, whenever we are trying to look at data and bring out actionable insights. The tools were usually very used to, and we're still used to maybe basic Excels, formulas, external sources, but we spend much time doing that, crafting it out. So one thing that has saved us now is the time we use in bringing out actionable insights is lesser than what we were doing before, because we have different AI tools like Cloud now. Once you give it the right prompt, you know how to use it. It builds your data up and just give you what you need to make a decision on. So our decisions on route to market investment, leveraging on those data in those fragmented spaces we're talking about is a bit much faster now. So we will work in a better way, smarter way, and in an agile way now. So AI has been another thing. So I have a better work-life balance now, right, compared to before.
Interesting. So it's already in practice, you're saying? In your organization, it's already in practice? You're implementing that in your strategy?
So we are even converting for courses in that area now. Go on your personal course or sponsored courses. I have some 3 courses on 3 different tools now on AI. So that's the future.
Thanks for that. Sham, quickly for you.
It doesn't do much with my life. It checks my emails. There are lesser artwork people in the office. One guy who comes up and shows me new artworks every time for whether vehicle branding or some other things, and he's expecting me to say wow all the time. I say it.
Okay.
So just the little basics, email corrections. I've tried putting in, give me a marketing plan. But I have to go back, read it, and not agree with it. And who am I to discuss it with again? Who am I to present it to? So it's not really functional with mine. But I have colleagues in the office and at my own office who use it to drive discussions with me.
Sure.
But I'm still out of AI, except for correcting Steve.
You're still going to take time to kind of bring adoption for AI. Very interesting, I think. Good take on how kind of you're adapting AI and bringing that in practice. Thank you so much, all of you guys. I'm opening the floor to you guys now. A big hand, by the way, before that, a very big hand to all of the panelists here. Thank you for all the valuable insights you gave today. Yeah?
Thank you very much. Abhishek, do you have any questions from the audience?
Yes. Opening the floor. The best audience question gets a prize.
Okay, my question is this. To any of the panelists, can answer it. Which area of your business do you feel you could invest more of your funds into to grow your brands in the next 5 years?
Okay.
Over to you. Anybody can pick up. And
Okay,
So when it comes to my line of business, at this moment, the investment required is more into distribution, more into networking. So we could cover much more areas if we invest more into distribution, keeping in mind that we need to keep the cost in check because our margins are very minute, a low margin product. And your question was, where do we invest? Distribution is one part.
In the next 5 years, not now.
In the next 5 years, if you invest into any part of your company, if it grows, you cannot have a bump on one side and not invest on the others. It's going to be everywhere, but at this moment, what I look at in my current structure, we need to invest more into redistribution or distribution. And if that channel picks, you will need more people to verify data, as you heard it. You will need more people to keep accounts. You will need more people in logistics. So investment will go across board, but just to answer the question, I want to improve my distribution network at the moment.
Okay, thank you.
Are you satisfied with the answer?
All right.
Sorry. Okay.
Satisfaction is guaranteed. Please be very brief. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So speed is a conversation that has been echoed in this summit. So my question is, in supply chain management, speed is often seen as a competitive advantage, but speed could increase the cost of being wrong. So how do you determine when the cost, or how do you determine the cost of an imperfect decision if it is greater than the cost of a delayed decision? How do you determine the cost of an imperfect decision if it is greater than the cost of a delayed decision? And what threshold do you base it on? Is it on the corporate level or on the day-to-day operational level?
Thank you very much. Can we
wants
just
to
take
take
the
it up?
last question and then you answer both together? Please give the microphone to the last man standing. Thank you. Please make it short and straight to the point.
Okay, thank you very much.
So-
So question is,
We didn't answer him.
We'll take both the questions together.
okay, so my question is that we've always heard about omni-channels of distributions, but I would like to hear your thoughts on omni-products. Are there certain products that are possible that they can go across all the channels and be able to perform, very well across all the channels? And do you have use cases for those kind of conditions?
Okay, so for these questions, it comes to route to markets and compatible products. So when you are looking at products, there are some products that will have to skip some steps, because of the shelf life involved. There are some products that have to go through some modern trade because of the pack sizes. Like fresh goods now, the route to market for normal consumables or usables in the FMCGs is different from the route to market for fresh goods items like frozen products, right? So the product you're talking about or you're dealing with determine the route to market that you're going to associate with that product and the shelf life of that product. So it's not one cap fit all. It's not the same strategy for all products. The product determines how you get to the customers that you are targeting. So that's just a kind of brief concept I can give on that. I don't want to add anything. Yeah.
The second question, anybody wants to answer?
The first thing that there will be no delay in is making the decision. Every situation demands a decision. So sometimes your decision could make you lose money, but you want to do it because you want some things to go extremely fast. And sometimes you make decisions and delay your deliveries because you do not want the organization to lose money. In simple arithmetic, what should not delay is the decision. You decide whether you should delay a particular execution or you decide, even if it's a loss, let me go ahead and execute the delivery. It is case by case, but what is easier in smaller organizations, much smaller organization, is the decision making, because the process of approvals or decision making are limited to 5, 6, 1, 2 stages. So in totality, my response to you is make the decision. Whether you lose or you profit, you have to make that decision with every situation.
Make a decision
And-
whether you lose or win.
And to add to that, like we had said before, you make the decision, right? Even if it's not 100% achieved, but you've made a decision that you actually went into finding whatever that problem is. So when you're finding problems, make sure you find the problem down to the last question. There shouldn't be any question left unanswered. By the time you finish answering the question, that's your decision right there. And if the decision making requires 20,000 bureaucracy of, I think that's the question, that's the worry. If it requires all of that, you're going to have to get through to all of them as fast as possible. You don't need to waste time. I'll give a good example. They sent me to Bordeaux because I was troubling everybody. I troubled my line manager down to my line manager's manager, until you got to the CEO. And that process would have taken maybe 6 months. It took them 6 weeks because I didn't allow them to rest. And when they saw my questions and answers and why it was important that they must make that decision I want, they couldn't still make the decision. They now sent me, they got me tickets and sent me to the brand owner. Oh yeah, go and tell them with your mouth, because we have been telling them this thing for a long time. They didn't answer us. And I got to the brand owners, they listened to me, and they made a decision. 1 year after, I left the business in 2017. That brand is here in Nigeria, living, enjoying all that benefits because of that decision I made then. So you have to make the decision. You have to fight for that answer. If you think you're a strong, high-performing candidate, go there. Don't even waste time. Go to everybody until somebody answers you.
All right, thank you. So my question is, with the rise of e-commerce, right, e-commerce system in the market, how should traditional route to market model evolve? How should traditional route to market evolve? Evolve.
Okay.
How should practitioners' route to market evolve? All right.
Not a small question.
Into e-commerce.
Yes.
So e-commerce, you want to look at digital marketing, first of all, digital channel. I think digital marketing is the fastest and most affordable way of getting to your consumers. Why? We are all on WhatsApp. I'm sure all of you have gone to your WhatsApp today. How many status of your friend that is doing a wedding tomorrow or last week, right? We are all on Instagram. We're all on Facebook. We're all on TikTok. The communication that you in marketing need to do to make sure that that content is very thought-provoking, is very compelling enough, that allows that consumer to click on that thing that they saw on WhatsApp status, or click on that thing that they saw on Instagram, or any other media. By chance, by luck, that consumer that you're looking for found that thing. What's that thing? The content. That content, you don't leave it and end it and say, oh, I'm digital agency, I've done my job, people have seen the brand. No. As a digital agency or as a digital marketing team in your business, they must take it from that, I have created the awareness, which is the funnel, the first funnel. Take it down to engagement, because if you're not on digital, you'll be inside the store about to buy the products. That means you are engaging with the products. Don't leave it as engagement. Right there in the store, the consumer wants to buy or is going because they don't want the products. Take that same attitude on digital. So from that media, it now moves to the consumer making a decision, which is reach. Let's say you tell your marketing team, or rather your marketing team says, we are going to be able to reach 5 million consumers, potential consumers. Out of that 5 million, don't let them end that we have met 5 million consumers and that's it. No. They must take it from that awareness to the next level, which is reach. And after reach, what's the next thing? Which is engagement. After engagement, the last thing is conversion. You take them from that 5 million people, not all of them will get to conversion, right or wrong? Right. Now, if the 5 million will not get to conversion, your marketing team must give themselves a KPI. Even if it's the first time they are going to do it, they must give themselves a KPI and say, these 5 million people, yes, they've engaged, they've clicked, they've plenty jargons that they used to say. What is the remaining number? Is it going to be 1% of that 5 million? Is it going to be 0.5%? Is it going to be 5%? What's that target? We, as marketing, forget about sales, we must give ourselves that target. Now, when we give ourselves that target, who is the e-commerce channel that is so big that they have so many people that go to their platform? You then make sure that that content that those people on WhatsApp and everywhere have clicked, it directs them, call to action. Because they've clicked it, it means they're already interested. Make sure it goes directly to the e-commerce platform or your website's e-commerce platform or whatever the case may be. At the end of the day, that your 5 million people that saw it, at least minimum 2,000 people, 5,000 people, 10,000 people would eventually, or 1 million people would eventually go to that e-commerce platform. So make sure that your marketing team do not end at awareness and engagement. Insist that they must tell you what they must do. If they don't know the answer, that's the second thing. Call me, I'll give you the master class. But it definitely can be done. There's a business called Adminton. That's what they do today. Adminton would take instead of you spending 500 million naira, they actually.
That's your cue that you have said enough.
Thanks.
Sorry, is our mic working? Please, can you collect your neighbor's own just to round up?
Okay, so these guys showed me evidence of what they did with the skincare. The skincare company wasted money. They spent almost 500 million naira. And Adminson spent 2 million naira. And they achieved 20% ROI increase versus all the 500 million that was wasted the previous time they did it. And they had 0 ROI. So that's the answer right there.
All right, thank you very much. So in case you have any 500 million naira that you're not using, please give it to me, and I can achieve it in 10%, with 10% of the money. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for our panelists.
Thank you.
As they stand for a group photograph, as has been the practice.
We still have to announce the winner.
What?
We still have to announce the winner. The audience.
We have to get a winner.
Oh, yeah. So maybe then you are not listening to the session.
Okay.
You're sharp, right?
All right, so who's the winner?
What I promised is that we have a prize for the best audience question. We asked for, we have to decide among ourselves.
So which was the best audience question? Why are you people
you guys
shouting like Arsenal fans
for
now? All right.
All
so
right, what's your name?
What's the Chigozie? You get a bottle of water as you are going home. Eh? What's your name?
Sorry?
We didn't call you, Oga. Wait. Big calming down. Your name is Chigozie. You are an Arsenal fan. You'll get your prize in 22 years' time. Is that not okay? No, we need to know. No, we need to test you to be sure that you're truly an Arsenal fan. Your loyalty must be tested. So you take a bottle of water, go and drink water. In 22 years' time, at the 24th edition of RTM, we'll give you a prize. All right, put your hands together.
Promised, you'll get your prize.
See the organizers afterwards. Thank you. That was on a lighter note. Let's get up for a group photograph, please. Group photograph, after which Mr. Benjamin will come forward to present to each of the panelists. Group photograph very quickly, please. The lady in the middle. Blessed art thou amongst men. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Everybody say Chigozie. All right, where's Benjamin? Please sit. We have a token for each of you. As they receive their token from the team at RTM, I'd like to warm us up for the next panel, which is on marketing, consumer-centric marketing strategies. Consumer-centric marketing strategies. And this panel will be moderated by the founder and curator of the CIO C-Suites Awards. She's a lawyer who pivoted into tech, and she's teching them and peppering them in the tech industry with intellectual property, the CIO Awards, which has been a coveted one for people in